to me as a chef is coming from, viral challenge YouTube content. Like I was like not gonna believe it, but I was just like, you know what, like it'll be fun, good exposure, whatever. And then the video came out and it like went nuts. It went nuts. Big on every platform and be big in. Okay, cool, thanks. How can we be big on like every platform and get our socials like totally out there, right? I think it's like one of the hardest things to do is get people to move from platform to platform. That's why like my whole collab type of deal with Eric was so successful, because like we kept people on YouTube, and like I think it's all about how you promote it, and then like what's the call to action? Is there incentive for people to go follow you on Instagram? Is there incentive for people to go follow you on YouTube or TikTok or something like that? So that's like the hardest thing I think for every creator, right? Is just like trying to incentivize the audience and bring the audience with you to other platforms, and then growing on those platforms too, which is like a whole beast in itself, man. It's tough. It's tough.
Well, welcome back to the Outspoken Show, the number 5 podcast in the world, backed by plenty of data, plenty of research that goes into that. Comment on this video, and the comment with the most likes will be sent $10 via PayPal. And on today's episode, we've got a chef who helped launch the top-rated 5-star restaurant in Los Angeles out of a house, and when launching his YouTube channel, gained over 100,000 subs in a week. Welcome to the show, Jake.
Welcome.
Let's go, boys! I'm super stoked to be here. Thanks for having me. And also, since I'm in New York, I'm sure it's an early day for you guys. So thanks for accommodating me in my schedule. So I appreciate it.
It's worth it. It's well and truly worth it. We usually record on Sundays, and realized, as a chef, that wouldn't work because that's your Saturday night.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm ever since the YouTube thing, I've been kind of focusing on content creation. So it's like now I can kind of work how I want to work. I'm not dictated by like dinner service anymore, really. So, which is kind of cool. So I can kind of, wake up and be productive in the hours that I'm most productive, whether that's the afternoon or the evening or the night or like the morning. Lately it's been varying day by day, but I'm taking it as it comes. So it's fun so far.
That's awesome. So before the video with Eric, what were you doing? Were you a chef by trade?
So, you know what? Let's. I'll give you the whole thing. So,
I love it.
I've cooked professionally in restaurants since I've been 15. I'm 26 now. So cooked through high school, and then eventually I was like, okay, so what do I want to do? Do I want to cook? Do I want to be a chef and take like the less beaten path, I guess you could say, compared to my friends, or do I want to like do the college thing, major in business, go do something else? And I was like, no, I want to cook. So I was like, if I want to cook and be a chef, I'm going to go to the best place that I can go to. So I went to the Culinary Institute of America. I got a degree in culinary arts, and I studied food science. And that was like the turning point for me, where it was like, do I still want to be in a restaurant? Working in a restaurant, dude, it's such a pain. Can I curse, by the way? Is that okay?
Yeah, fucking
absolutely.
All right, I just want to make sure, because like sometimes I just let it fly and don't realize. But so I was like, do I still want to work in a restaurant? Restaurant is like one of the worst businesses ever. It's super fulfilling. I'm extremely passionate about it, but it was like, how can I be close to food and still have like a normal life? I don't want to work like an asshole until 2 a.m. every night, because I was tired of it. So I was like, okay, so I got a job in the Bay Area in San Francisco. I was working at a small, at the time, I guess they were kind of like in startup mode still, Blue Apron. They're like a meal delivery kit in the US. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. And so I was doing like food safety, quality assurance, things like that. Anything like produce, food quality related, I was like the guy. So that was an interesting experience. Took me more of like a corporate route, and I was missing food. I was missing this whole throughout this entire thing. I'm like missing cooking, because like working in a restaurant and with your team, and it's like you're working all night, and you guys go out, drink beers, and like do the whole thing. You do it all over again the next day. The camaraderie was really awesome. So I was missing food, so I was like kind of cooking on the side, part-time a little bit. And then I was living in the Northern Bay Area, so which is close to Napa. So then I had a bunch of friends who were in the wine business. We're like, hey man, like, you know, this is pretty cool. We're doing wine, working in vineyards, the whole thing. So I was like, okay, maybe I can do wine. So again, wine was a way for me to kind of stay out of the restaurant, but still be close to the scene. And so I was working in vineyards. I was working in wineries. I was selling wine. I was making wine. Any kind of, I wanted to get the whole experience, and I wanted to learn as much as I possibly could in the shortest amount of time. And so I was working at a winery. I was like one of the winemakers. I was like a cellar hand, and job was coming to an end. Harvest was coming to an end. I was like, okay, so now what am I gonna do? I could stay in Napa, try to find another wine gig. I was like, I don't really want to do that, and so I was still like kind of cooking on the side, but I'm just like, this is all like getting kind of lame. And it's like, I need to make some money. I need to make some money. So I ended up getting a job at, I was in fine and rare wine and whiskey most recently. So I was working in high-end beverage auctions. And that was cool for like a year. And I was like, then I realized the people I was working with, like the caliber of people I was working with, and plus like some of my coworkers just like, dude, nobody wanted to have fun. It was like, all this corporate bullshit. And it was like, this is so fucking stupid. Cause it was like, backtrack. That job took me to New York City. So now I'm currently living in New York City. So it's like, I have all these friends who are doing all these big corporate jobs, making the money, doing the, you know, like doing the thing. And I'm just like, this is fucking stupid, dude. Like, this feels, you're glued to this desk for 8 hours a day, sometimes much longer, usually much longer. And you're looking around at all these people and everyone's fucking miserable. No one's having a good time. Everyone's just like bitching about everything, and you leave and get drunk and then do it all again the next day. So it's like definitely something I was not into. So, which also, I mean, it was cool because I got to travel a lot. I got to, you know, do sales, got to be with people because I like people. But still miss cooking. I was like, I miss fucking cooking. I miss food. I still go out to eat, but it's like, it's not the same. So, what happened then? Corona came. So Corona came, that was like March of last year, I guess. Jesus.
Yeah.
March of last year. Yeah, March of last year came. It was, dude, oh my God, I can't believe it's been this long already. But, so March of last year, I got furloughed from my job. So 2 months, they were like, you're off, no pay, not or whatever. I'm like, fine, that's totally cool. I'll sit on my ass and whatever. So then I started getting into like TikTok. I've always like posted food and stuff on Instagram. That was always kind of like my thing. But I started getting like short format video. And I tried to do YouTube for a while, but it was never as good as I wanted it to be. And I don't really think I had the discipline to be like, hey, I'm going to like film all this content by myself, edit all this content by myself, and post all this content by myself, and I want it to be up to the standard. And I couldn't work up to my own standard as far as like video.
Production standard, you mean?
Exactly. And it was like, I'm seeing all these other awesome food creators on YouTube and Instagram, and I'm like, dude, their shit is like looking popping.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just can't do that. Like, sure, give me like a year to figure everything out. I'm sure I could work up to it, but I was like, I don't want to do that. It was taking up too much of my time, and I wasn't really seeing a return as far as like, you know, the views, the engagement, all of that. So I was like, I need to figure out something a little bit better. So TikTok started coming along, as many of the mid-20s people were doing, getting on TikTok during quarantine because there was nothing else to do. And I was like making food, and I realized I was like, hey, this is super manageable. I can create a lot of content in a short amount of time and have it look as good, if not better, than a lot of the other creators that are doing it on this platform. So I'm like, this seems kind of like, this could be my bread and butter.
I love your TikTok videos, by the way. They're hilarious. They're so good.
Thank you. So I was like, yo, this could be it. Because it was like, it was manageable. I could still work, or like, you know, go out and find part-time work or whatever. and it would all work within my schedule. So I was doing that for a while. And like, yeah, sure, I saw the views, I saw the engagement, which was good. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then, so I stopped the YouTube thing. And then fast forward, I start work again, back to the same job. And then several months later, I end up getting fired. So during this time, I'm still creating on TikTok, still like Instagram, TikTok, and things like that. And they canned me for like some total bullshit. But to be honest with you, I was halfway out the door for the past 6 months anyway. So I was like, okay, so like I'm gonna be unemployed for a while, and I'm gonna figure this out because I can't do this corporate thing again. It was like, I try to tell my parents, I'm like, hey man, like I can't do this shit anymore. It's fucking, number one, it's fucking stupid. They're like, well, what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna go back to cooking at a restaurant? I'm like, well, I mean, I can if I want, but I don't really want to do that because the money is shitty. And I was like, what if I start my own business? My mom's like, Jake, just get a fucking job. Like, you need some income. And I'm just like, listen, maybe if I don't have a job for a while, I could turn it into something that could be a job, right?
Of course. And
so, my parents, they were like supportive, but like they don't get the realm, so it's like it's understandable. So
desperation creates a lot of good things, though. Like when
insane,
you're desperate,
right?
like you'll figure it out.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep creating food videos on TikTok and Instagram, see where it goes, and then
stop right there. Before we go any further, I wanted to give you a little explanation on who Jake is. So Jake was on a YouTube video by Airac. Airac created a YouTube channel last year. The start of last year, went from 0 to 1 million subscribers in a year. Very difficult, very hard to do, and he does Mr. Beast type videos. He did a video about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, with the concept was I wanted to create a fake 5-star restaurant out of my house. So he needed a chef in that video. He put up a swipe up link on his story. Jake applied to that. You listen to Jake tell that story. But the concept of the video was, okay, we need a fake 5-star restaurant. We need Google reviews. He wanted to become the number 1 rated restaurant in Los Angeles. So they bought for $650, I think it was 100 Google reviews. Made it into the number 1 rated restaurant in Los Angeles. They started taking bookings. And then they started to cater for these people that came to their house. That video blew up. Jake went from 0 to now 130 subscribers, 130,000 subscribers in that time.
Let's say I was doing this for like, I got fired and I was doing it for like a month. Eric posted on his Instagram story, says, if you want to be a social media chef, swipe up, fill out this form.
This is on his Instagram story.
On his Instagram story, yeah. So I swiped up. I got there quick. It literally was like, the story was up for like 2 minutes. So I was like, all right, I'm definitely in on this early. I don't know what it is.
Let's fucking go.
But I was worried because like I followed him for the past like 8 months. So I've seen like where where the content has gone and the progression of where he's gone.
How many subs was he at when you started following him?
Like, I don't know, 600K.
Wow, so you've seen him double up.
700K maybe?
Triple up.
Yeah, so I was always a big fan of his content, but I was like, what could this guy possibly want to do in the food space? So I was like, well, I gave him my story, dropped my handle. Yeah, fuck it, right? And his producer, I guess he was his producer. This
Is that
kid,
Mac?
Aiden. Really,
Aiden.
Yeah, really nice, really sweet guy. And he DMs me. He's like, hey man, love your content. We were like chatting or whatever. And he's like, we love to have a FaceTime. I was like, oh, okay, sweet. So this like might be like a thing because I've seen other YouTubers do this whole FaceTime thing. I was like, okay, this could be pretty cool. So then a day goes by, I didn't hear from him, and so I was like, oh, I'm totally getting like, I'm getting fucking Hollywood. Like the kid's not gonna hit me back. They're like, oh yeah, but we found someone better probably. So I was like, totally down in the dumps after like literally 18 hours. I was like, this kid's not hitting me back. I'm fucked. Like now I'm back to square one. Hits me back the next day. He says, yo dude, sorry, like let's get a FaceTime going like right now. And I was like, okay, cool. So You guys saw the video. You guys saw the video, I assume.
So that was the FaceTime.
That was the FaceTime.
That was the FaceTime that we saw.
And so, that was the FaceTime you guys saw in the video. So Eric said, I didn't even expect it to be him. I thought it was going to be like Hayden or one of the other guys. And he told me his idea. He's like, we want to open a restaurant. We want to do this whole thing, and we want you to run it. We want you to do the food, everything. I was like, okay, this sounds super dope. So I was thinking do you want to do like a pop-up? I thought this was going to be this like insane thing. And I thought it was going to be a lot bigger than I could handle, but luckily it was just on the verge to where I could handle it. But he's like, yeah, we're going to do a pop-up restaurant in my house and invite all these people, go out and like buy a bunch of reviews and make it look like it's going to be this insane thing and see if we can get a bunch of people to show up to my house for dinner. I was like, okay, it sounds cool. When do you want to do it? He's like, well, we want to film it tomorrow. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess we're going to do it then.
Good thing you left your job or you'd been fired from your job at this point. Like,
dude, it's perfect. And to be completely honest with you, if I was working at the time and I did get the same opportunity, I would probably just be like, yo, fuck it. Like, let's do it.
Go.
It's once in a lifetime, right? Like, this doesn't happen to like anybody. So Hayden said I was like the 6th person to write in on Eric's story. And he was like, they got like 300-400 people to write in on this Instagram story. And they chose me. I was like, holy shit, you guys chose me out of like all these people. So ended up out there, and I didn't think this was going to be like a huge thing, to be honest. I got scooped up from the airport. We were filming all day. We were filming the whole weekend, and the last person he did this with the DJ, the kid ended up only getting like 20K on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then he's not really even creating anymore, or at least he's sporadically creating. And I was like, okay, so like this is cool, but like, are people really going to buy in? To me, as a chef, it's coming from viral challenge YouTube content. Like I was like not going to believe it, but I was just like, you know what, like it'll be fun, good exposure, whatever. And then the video came out, and it like went nuts. It went nuts. So we were keeping track of like all the numbers and everything as it was coming in. And like it ended up, it was like 100 here and there, 200, and it started like really, really rolling after the first day, and it was like 100 subs like a minute, like 200 subs a minute. And so it was like every time you refresh, like I was like, I don't even want to fucking look at it anymore. So like my roommate was like, dude, I'm keeping track of this thing all night. He was like all fired up. I was like, don't even fucking tell me where it's at, 'cause I don't want to hear about it anymore. We need to figure this thing out now, because it's like now I really need
holy shit, I got to do something.
Get it together. Exactly, because it's like I was doing short form content, but the ultimate goal was to find somebody who would want to partner with me and not make money for a while and put out some really awesome content. And so luckily I found that person. But,
so this is who's making your videos? Is that?
Yeah. So I have a close friend of mine. He's a videographer and editor, and he saw the video and he hit me up. He was like, yo, dude, like this is going insane. We have to do something. And I was like, are you telling me like you want to film my cooking videos? He was like, yeah, dude, like, let's do it. Like, awesome. Doesn't matter. Like, we're in this thing. And he was like, he's really fucking good at it too. So it's like,
fuck yeah. He
makes me look really good. Like the content comes out really nice, like 50%, because he's so good at what he does. And it's like, I think I have a good on-camera presence and personality and things like
you
that.
Do.
But it's like,
yeah.
he makes it look fucking next level, which is really awesome. And so far, it's working. It seems like it's working out, kinda. I'm still wrapping my head around it, because it's like, it's a whole new world and things to learn, and like how can we be the best at what we're doing? How can we stay competitive with other creators that are out there? And then it's like how can we be unique? And like, because it's the internet. It's so saturated. Everybody wants to be a creator nowadays, and it's like, how do you navigate this space where it's so saturated and everyone is most likely better than you are,
Yeah. Well, I feel like as a podcast, that's something that we're figuring out. And I very strongly believe that we're hungrier than virtually every podcast, probably barring a few that I don't know, but I'm happy to make an exception for. But I really don't think that there's another podcast that's spending as much time on it as we are. And I hope that over time everything catches up, and
Totally.
that's sort of what you hope for, right?
Totally. That's always like one of my like end goals is a podcast. I think that's a lot of creators' end goals is a podcast. Do you guys create other content? But I know it's just I've seen your YouTube page and everything, but like you guys are just a podcast.
Just a podcast,
Just a
at the moment,
podcast,
yeah. But I mean, I want to get into everything.
Yeah,
but,
flirting with some ideas about like pushing
yeah,
onto
totally.
the other kinds of content too.
Yeah, at the moment we're just a podcast.
That's awesome. No, I like what you guys are doing so far, and it's like I have ambition to start a podcast, but it's like I don't know, are people really going to be stoked on hearing about like food and beverage? Maybe some people, but like I feel like it's a small space, and it's like people like the like TikTok creators who are really big who do food, and it's like they keep it on that level, and like that's it. Like, are they really diving deep into like reading things? Are they actually cooking? Are they
actually
like
experts?
looking at right? Are they just like looking at nice food all the time? I don't know. It's interesting because like a goal of mine is to make food and wine like approachable to people, to young people. I think, and I think a lot of really good content that's out there is not approachable, and I think a lot of the approachable content out there is not to the level where it could be. So I want to try to find my whole goal with this whole thing. And it's not just to be a YouTuber, it's just to kind of bring food and wine and food and beverage content to an understandable level, but have it still be really high quality stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be super hard, but it's just kind of like, how do you find the middle ground where you can like appeal to everyone or appeal to most people or who you want to appeal to, and still have it be really high quality content to where people can understand. So that's what we've been kind of figuring out, and like how can we be the best at doing that? And I think there are only a couple creators out there that are doing that right now. Like, if you guys, I don't know if you guys do you pay attention a lot to like the food space and things like that? Other creators, or not really?
Not a whole lot, but who are you referencing?
So like Josh Weissman, like there are a few key players. Josh Weissman, he's like one of the biggest on YouTube. Just came out with a cookbook. The guy's killing it. And Nick DiGiovanni, he's killing it too. The kid is like everywhere.
Yeah,
and
I see
they're doing doing really cool stuff. Oh yeah, he's like always on everyone's shit. Whether it's like TikTok, YouTube, he's everywhere. And so he's doing such a great job at literally being everywhere. Like, his TikToks are everywhere. He's on YouTube Shorts. He's on Instagram, and he's successful on all those platforms. And some of his food, I think, is a little stunty. Nick, if Nick ever listens to this, I'm still a huge fan of his. But I think some of it's a little stunty. It's like, we're doing $1,000 steak, or we're doing like a gajillion-dollar crab or something like that.
It's Mr. Beastified.
Exactly. Yeah, totally Mr. Beastified, which is super dope. But I like Josh Weissman. I'm a big fan of that because it's like you see his content and it's like, hey, that looks awesome. I can totally make this. He's breaking it down for me and it's super awesome. But I want my content to be a little bit more like personality, cooking show engaged versus like educational video. So we're kind of trying to find the middle ground, because I've noticed that a lot of that educational step-by-step content really, really works, and people engage with it, and the algorithm likes to pick it up. But then how can we incorporate a little bit more fun into the educational aspect? That's where we're kind of figuring out, and still figuring it out and still working on it. So it's a cool journey so far.
Yeah, well, the podcast, I guess, like what we're doing is one guest episode a week, and then one with just us boys, and there's one other with us at the moment, but he's sick and couldn't make it. But so I guess we're trying to do one episode where we're trying to let our personality shine, because then once our personalities get developed and hopefully liked, that can go into other verticals. And that's what we're thinking.
Yeah, totally.
There. So a podcast could be a good route. I had a thought, just as you were sort of talking about making the food and wine space more approachable and understandable for young people. What if you were just to say, like, DM a bunch of like influencers, and I know that's difficult to get through to them, but just say, hey, I like to go live with a bunch of random people. Like, you send them a wine bottle, you've got the same wine bottle, and then you just go live for 20 minutes and you take 2 sips
just
and talk about the cheese. Yeah, I don't know. That was just...
Yeah, just drinking and chatting.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. So we have a few ideas to where, like, we want to... So I'm trying to formulate my sentence here. So along with making the content more approachable, we want to bring the food and beverage into like the YouTuber space. So like, I think Josh Weissman, he did a few collabs like Cody Ko and like Emma Chamberlain and like a lot of those bigger YouTubers, which I think was awesome. Yeah, huge collabs. And like, I think that's what's really cool. And that's what I think would be the key to getting other people interested in YouTube, interested in the food space. So I think once you bring these like bigger YouTubers and influencers into the space, then I think that you can appeal to more people and kind of see like, hey, this isn't that hard or this isn't that big of a deal. So we're kind of thinking about how can we collaborate with influencers and other like creators that have nothing to do with food, and how do we make the food and beverage translate to people who watch people like, you know, Eric, Mr. Beast, Emma Chamberlain, people like that. So we're trying to figure out like, you know, we want to do some cool YouTuber influencer dinners or like some cool videos. So we're trying to figure out how we can do that, and we're also trying to figure out how we can get a bunch of these like famous people that even like listen to us and be like, hey, let me like come cook you dinner or something and let us film it.
Yeah, well, I guess
that's what we're trying to do.
Is the Airac strategy make their content for them too? But I guess because you've got such a specific skill set, like you can just offer them a window into that skill set, and maybe they'd be more open to it. Like teaching them how to cook. I don't know. How are you making money right now though? Are you making money from cooking?
That's a good question. How am I making money? I'm not really making money right now. So I have a really close friend of mine who I'm working with, and she's in the public relations space. Luckily, she's one of my best friends since forever. So her work is pro bono, which I am very grateful for. So we're trying to. I've been approached by a few brands and things, but like sometimes the deals seem a little sketchy, and then sometimes it's just like I don't want to associate with that. So I'm trying to hold off on making the money until it like really makes sense. Like I don't want to just be like, hey, I want to promote this clothing brand just because they're paying me $1,000. You know, I want the brands that I work with to I want to either like them or I want them to make sense with my brand and what I want to do and how I want to get my message across. So to answer your question, I'm not making money right now doing this, but we're pretty close, I think. We have some cool meetings and hopefully some cool collabs coming up soon, which I'm extremely excited about. So hopefully something will come through where like I'm stoked to work with a brand, because I'm just not gonna like just plug anything.
Is any of that okay? You're not able to talk about that right now.
No, not right now. I wish I could.
That's
but
right.
But hopefully soon. And it's like they're brands you've probably seen if you know keep up in the food space, or at least on Instagram and things like that. So I'm super stoked. Hopefully we're hoping to make some money soon, because I feel bad because my boy Jack, who does all my videography and editing work, he's working on like he's working for free basically right now. So I'm like, I feel bad because it's like he's doing so much work on my behalf, and I'm just like, dude, like I don't really have money to pay you. But once we start getting some money into this thing and like start getting some real like momentum going with brands, then I think we can be really successful.
Yeah. Are you doing other work outside of the creator space?
I private chef here. I'm a little bit, and I'm private chefing here and there. So especially summertime, and I live in Brooklyn, so I'm not too far from the Hamptons, and luckily I have a lot of wealthy friends, and they have wealthy friends. So they're like, you know, we want a private chef for the weekend, or like can you come cook us dinner? And like I'll charge them if I'm gonna go travel out to the Hamptons. I charge them a lot of money. So it's good because it's like cash in my pocket, and it can fund some of my content creation along with like just being alive. So
that's expensive too.
Yeah, for sure. Especially in New York, man, it's tough. But like I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna need to get a job soon. Like the funds are running low. We're not gonna get money coming through the YouTube verse in time for me to be like, oh, I can just like I'm good. I can live off this. Blah 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 blah. So I'm looking for something that I can do part-time, or something that will give me enough time to be able to focus on creating content.
Well, what's life like in Brooklyn at the moment? Are you guys basically like open up back to normal, or is it still you are? It's pretty good.
It's pretty much normal because like New York City has some. I think it's, don't quote me, but the highest vaccination rate in the U.S. I don't know if that's true, but I think we're like 75% vaxxed.
At least up there. Yeah.
It's up there. So it's like a lot of things are still open, and I don't think the city's not going to shut down again. And then everyone's going to start being required to show proof of vaccination.
Right.
I don't know, a lot of people stand differently on that. But I'm happy to be vaccinated, and I'm happy to be able to go and enjoy some of my favorite restaurants and bars and clubs and things like that. So, it's like, I think that's the key to getting over this thing, but everything's pretty open especially if you're vaccinated. That's like the key to the city. That's like their new marketing thing. It's like getting vaxxed is like the key to the city, and you can do whatever you want. But
it's almost like Los Angeles, the city of dreams or something.
Yeah, key to the city. Show us the green tick. Yeah.
But everything's pretty normal right now. So thankfully, because if it wasn't, I would freak. I don't even know what I would do. I would get too bored, man.
Yeah.
Too bored.
Just hammer down on the at-home content, making shit and posting it. That would basically what you have to do.
It'd be nonstop, and I think I'd probably grow pretty fast, but I think people would get sick of me posting, on Instagram every single day. They're like, dude, you should, we love your stuff, but it's like, it's getting annoying, man. I can't be seeing you every single day. I'm like, okay.
Do you reckon people say that though? I don't. If it's good,
I do.
Really?
Too much content is
really.
You can overdo it.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm just like, there are a few like bloggers and stuff I like in the Instagram space, and like their shit comes up on my feed every day, like every single day, new video every single day, which is cool. But like sometimes I'm just like, it's like I don't want to see your face every day.
Yeah.
Maybe like a few times a week, I think is awesome. Yeah, take a day off. Like chill out, drink a beer or something. You don't have to be like every day. But do you grow more if you're posting every day? I don't know. I don't think so, because there was a time where I was posting on Instagram every day, and my views were going down, my engagement was going down. Like you can look at this like the 7 posts every single day, and you can just watch from each post, the numbers are going down and down and down.
Wow.
And I was like, it didn't make sense to me, and I don't really know all the science behind the algorithm and Instagram and how that works, but I thought it was really interesting. I'm like, am I being annoying? Am I posting too much? I don't know. TikTok, it's good, but there are a few creators out there where I'm just like, every day, like it's getting kind of annoying, and she keeps showing up on my feed every day. So I do say that sometimes.
Yeah, I wonder if people are just like, I don't need to watch them today. They're going to have something tomorrow. I can hold off if I feel like watching them later in the week. Like, I don't have to keep up to date with them because they're going to post something the next day and the next day. So who cares? Let's just relax today. I'll watch something else. I wonder if you can dilute it too much. Yeah.
I like the YouTube thing. It's like, people post once, twice a week, and I'm cool with that. I think that's really great. And it's like high quality, well done content most of the time. And I appreciate that approach. I think every day is a little excessive. And if you're posting every day, doing the same sort of content, I think it gets boring. But if you're posting once or twice a week doing the same content, I think that's cool. But that's just kind of how I think about it. Could just be my own opinion.
Yeah.
But things like TikTok, if you're like, one of those cool TikTok kids out in LA, they're doing like, they're like going to eat sushi with their friends, or like then they're like dancing, and then they're like,
what's that?
And then they're like going shopping. Yeah.
What's the steakhouse called? The one that they all go to?
Outback.
Is it? It is
Outback.
No.
No,
that's
hold on. Saddle Ranch. They do Saddle Ranch.
Yeah.
Or the fancy one, Boa. That's like the big
I've heard that,
influencer spot. And they're like going out to dinner, they're dancing, they're doing all different things. So it's like, I think they can keep it fresh, and people like that shit. Well, it's not my type of jam, but I find it interesting to see what people are watching and what their people are engaging with, and that kind of stuff is kind of killing it right now on TikTok.
I guess it's why they come. What do they come to you for? Because if it is lifestyle content, you could, I guess, probably get away with posting that all the time. I don't know. I guess
I think so.
There's probably
Yeah.
no.
It
There's probably
depends
no
on
answer.
who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how scandalous they are, because a lot, like, all that shit is so much drama, dude. Like, I don't know if you guys pay attention to that stuff, but like
Sort of.
sometimes I see it and I'm just like, dude, it's like, that's fucking exhausting. Like, sexual assault scandal, and then someone's not talking to someone, and then the social gloves kids didn't get
Oh,
paid.
yeah.
And
That
then
was a bad one.
And then these two people broke up. Dude, it's like a fucking reality show. It's exhausting, and I don't know if I'm just old or it's like I don't
it
get
is
that.
a reality show. The Hype House is turning
I
into
guess
a
it's what
reality
people
show.
like, right?
Yeah,
It's-
no, the
it's
Hype
like-
House
Yeah,
have a
makes
deal
sense.
with Netflix, I believe.
I don't know. It's like high school on
Oh,
drugs.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like it's.
Oh yeah, they have a thing, the reality show,
Yeah.
and so does the D'Amelios. They got a reality
Yeah.
show too.
So-
I'm so excited for that show. I don't know if you guys are stoked on.
I
Charli
don't follow
D'Amelio.
that much, but I respect what she's doing because she is crushed it.
It's insane, and I find Charli D'Amelio is like the most fascinating influencer for me. I don't like the trajectory, the growth, and then how insane and what she's doing right now, and then the whole family's involved. Now they have the freaking insane, right? And she's like 18 or 17 or
Phenomenal.
whatever it is, and it's like,
Yeah.
and then all these other 17, 18-year-olds in LA are like running amok, and it's like, and it looks like a nightmare. But it seems like the D'Amelios have it together, and I mega respect to Charli D'Amelio. I'm a huge fan, even though I might not be her like demographic, but it's like fascinating to me.
I'm the same way, and I'd love to know who she has in her ear because they're saying the right
Whoever
thing.
they
Like
are.
everything is very good. Just with the way
yeah.
the different ways they're going, and just like, how do you even? I feel like it'd be very easy to turn into a dickhead when there's that many people who are actually just answering to
dude.
you and begging for your attention. Like,
I would be an asshole. It'd be insane.
it'd be very difficult not to be an asshole.
Oh my god! Yeah, you got all the people, all the fans. Can I have a picture, autograph?
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Dude, I would be like, fuck off, guys. I got shit to do, you know?
Imagine we're like running late and I was late for a show because I was trying to leave a car park and they weren't reading my ticket and I was pissed off. And like imagine like that situation layered with like the Charli D'Amelio fans having like 100 people trying to rush you for a photo. Like, oh, you just lose your mind.
I saw this. I was on Instagram. I think it was last night. I saw this. It was Justin and Hailey Bieber and like their two friends eating lunch outside, and there's like a crowd of people surrounding them just while they're eating lunch. And I'm just like, everyone always says how cool it would be to be famous,
Ooh.
but I think once you get to a certain level of fame and a certain level of celebrity, it looks unpleasant, to be honest with you. Like it looks, I like to watch. Sometimes I like to watch the Hollywood Fix and things like that on YouTube just to see like you can see like influencers just being out and about and being real people, and it's like it's fascinating, man. It's that whole that level and that echelon of fame is fascinating, and I don't know how they deal with it, but kudos to all the famous people out there because it looks like it really looks hard. I would literally have. I would have a freak out. Like I would have a freak out on someone with a camera if they were in my face every single day. Like that's got to be a hard thing to manage. I don't know, but
Yeah, it wouldn't be easy.
I'm sure they still have a great time though. So good for them.
Yeah, I guess they are doing what they love. Who do you take inspiration from? Is there anyone in your videos that you sort of like aspire? Anyone that you're watching that you aspire to grab from?
Yeah, I think about that a lot. One of my biggest inspos would probably be Eddie Wong. I don't know if you guys know Eddie Wong. He was kind of prominent on Vice several years ago. I used to like Vice Media. I used to love Vice Munchies a lot, and I think they were doing some really awesome stuff. But there's been a lot of negative feedback on them and how they deal with creators and stuff. So I'm not really too stoked on them right now. But there's a guy, Eddie Wong. He was in law school, and then he told his parents I think he's Chinese, and his dad wanted him to be a lawyer or something, and he was like, nah, dude, like I want to open a restaurant. So he went and opened a restaurant in New York City, and he ended up being kind of like this really cool, edgy, like not only was he a chef, but he was like a personality, and he kept it real. You know what I mean? It's not like he got like famous and then he like became a different person. He was always the same guy through and through, which
love that.
I would love to be like, that's what I want to be like. And there's another chef, Matty Matheson. I love him. Same kind of vibe. He's an absolute nut job, a little bit nuttier than I would like to be, but it comes across really well, I think, on camera. And he's like definitely one of my inspos. And then I love Action Bronson. So it's kind of like, it's not really kind of how they carry themselves. So it's like they always kind of stay true to their roots. They keep things pretty traditional, and it's like they are who they are, and like that's it. You know, it's not like there's someone whispering in their ear saying, "Oh no, you need to like clean up your language, or you need to clean up your style, or like, you know, you have to be looking like this or say something like this to appeal to these people." It's kind of like they are who they are, and if you don't like it, then like that's okay. And that's kind of like how I am with all of my kind of stuff. And it's cool because my videographer, editor, producer Jack, he's kind of the same way. And it's like we want to build this brand to where it's like we're gonna put our shit out there, and if you don't fucking like it, then like you don't have to watch it. But I'm hoping that you like it, and I'm gonna try my best for everyone to like it and have it to be high quality. And we're gonna work super hard in making this thing as like fucking cool and awesome as it can be. But you know, if you don't like it, you don't like how I am or whatever, then like I don't give a fuck. Like that's okay. I'm here because I'm doing what I love, and I'm here because I'm passionate, not because I want to be some like famous figure and try to appeal to the world. You know, that's not my goal. It's like I want to cook food and create videos so that people will watch them and I can make a living. If I don't become a gajillionaire, that's cool, man. Like, as long as I'm stoked on what I'm doing every day, then like I'm happy, man. And like right now, I'm not making money, but like I'm happy. I'm like cooking food, making awesome content, and like I'm eating delicious food. So it's like I drink well all the time. So like I have no problem at all right now. You know, money would be good, but it's like I'm still stoked, and it's like, you know, if you guys don't like it, then that's cool, man. Like. That's kind of where most of my inspo is coming from. It's like people who are their realest versions of themselves all the time. That's what I find really awesome about like, exactly. And I think that's how a lot of people should be. And I think it's a shame when people start to get Hollywood and they start to be like having to do or say or be a certain thing in order to be more successful or take their shit to the next level. And it's like, I don't want to have to do that. Like, I might have to make some sacrifices in the future, sure. But, like, I think as long as you're real all the time, through and through, from the start to the end, that's what I find really awesome about people.
Yeah, that's awesome. And is it to open up a restaurant? Is that the dream?
That's what everyone says. Everyone's always like, Jake, you see my comment section. Everyone, Jake, open a restaurant. I don't want to fucking open a restaurant.
You're done with that line.
Everyone says you should open a restaurant. I don't want to fucking open a restaurant, dude. It's nights, it's weekends, it's holidays. Like,
stress.
Like I think it's over 50% of at least in the U.S. over 50% of restaurants fail within the first 2 years.
It'll be the same.
It's similar here, yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah,
Might be
it's
two-thirds.
The lowest margins.
I believe it. The margins are terrible. And you bust your ass, and you bust your ass for this thing that you're passionate about, and like you might fail. You have a good chance at failing, which is, I think, is horrible. So, I always told myself, like, if I was in the position in life to where I could lose $1 million investment, then like I will totally open a restaurant. Absolutely. Like if I'm comfortable with parting with that investment, then I'm cool. I'm cool with opening a restaurant. But
You're right.
The goal is not to open a restaurant. I would like to. I've always wanted to, but it's just like it's not a smart move. I want to be able to make videos and cook food, and sure. I think doing like a pop-up dinner. I always want to do like a pop-up dinner series. That was like the closest thing I would do to open a restaurant.
So go from like a different city, like with a food
like,
truck type thing.
Do like a weekend in LA, a weekend in Chicago, a weekend in New York, a weekend in London, or I don't know, something like that. Yeah, just
dope.
like kind of. Yeah, that would be super cool. And it's like I'm always on the move, and I'm not locked in to like a place. I don't like to be locked in. I like to be mobile, doing things, being dynamic. That's kind of my jam.
Yeah.
But restaurant, I don't know. Temporary restaurant, sure. Temporary situations in the restaurant biz are good. Not permanent, it's a little tough.
In-N-Out came to Australia just for 1 week, or came to Brisbane, sorry, which is where we are. Came to Brisbane for 1 weekend. I think it was like 2 years ago, and that just slapped. And I think just because we're seeing it in the movies, I think like that's the only reason it worked. Like
The pop-ups
we don't
that we
we
know
don't have
about
that much
work.
exposure to In-N-Out, but we hear about it. So then I think when it comes, we're like, oh shit, we got to go for a weekend. So
The pop-up and the travelling around, just doing cooking in different places, that sounds a lot more exciting than day in, day out.
I like
same
it.
restaurant, same
I like it
place.
because you can build up the hype on it. You could be like, oh yeah, this is only gonna be here for 2 days, and you're gonna get as many people as you possibly can and blow the fucking thing up, you know? And it's like you go out on this like hype note rather than like if your restaurant goes out of business, you're like, oh, they weren't doing well, they weren't busy, the fucking restaurant was a ghost town for 2 years. It's like, forget it. Like, keep the hype, keep the momentum strong, and then leave on that note. That's what I like. So restaurants are tough, but the In-N-Out thing is hype because everyone's so stoked about In-N-Out.
Yeah.
And they're only on the west coast. I think they have like a couple in Texas, but they're only on the west coast, and everyone's like, oh, I've never had In-N-Out, da 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 da. And like once it like they were doing the pop-up thing, everyone was like going out of their minds, even though it's just like it's burgers and fries, man. It's not that deep, you know.
You can't stuff it up really. If you do, you're terrible.
So you don't rate
Yeah.
In-N-Out? What's your go-to burger joint? Like for an Aussie going to America, what's the joint they've got to try?
I mean, I'm a fan of Shake Shack. Shake Shack's a little bit more prominent on the East Coast, but In-N-Out's dope too. Five Guys is good. I'd probably take like Shake Shack and Five Guys over In-N-Out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But we don't have In-N-Out near me, so it's like, you know, it's tough. But when I lived in California, In-N-Out was fine. It was like, because it was like I always had access to it, so it was like, oh yeah, it's good, but like it's not that dope. But then I moved out of California, and I was like, oh yeah, I miss In-N-Out because I don't have it anymore. So once you're close to it, it's like not that great, but it's definitely like a cool lore to the brand and everything because they're very, what do you call it? They have strong morals about their locations and being family run and all that. So I think it's cool that they're like sticking to their guns, not expanding, just keeping the brand the way it should be, and they're doing a great job. So In-N-Out's dope too, but Shake Shack and Five Guys are like the jam for me.
That's where it's at. And like, what's your favorite cooking method? As a single male who has, well, I live at home, so I got mum to cook for me. But wanting to
That's
move
nice.
out soon,
That's awesome.
yeah. But I'll probably be moving out soon. Like balancing time and convenience, and like still decent food. What's the best way to go about that?
That's a good question.
Do you have any hacks?
My jam. Yeah, I'm honestly, I don't really have any hacks, but like my jam
I swear that's
is
always the
grilling.
answer. There's no hacks.
There's no hacks.
with
It's just like
anything.
good and there's good and bad. There's no hacks. My jam is grilling. I think grilling is like the best way to impart a lot of flavor. Cook something really awesome and like and then there's minimal preparation to it. It's just like, yeah, you season it or marinate it, you throw it on the grill, and then it's it. It's like not like a whole string of techniques and energy put towards it, but it's really great. And it's, as far as convenience goes, I think it's the best way to do it because it's like there's no mess, there's no pots and pans to clean up. You just burn the shit off the grill and then scrape it up, and then that's it. So I'm lucky enough to be in Brooklyn, and I have a backyard, so I have a grill. So I do grill a lot, even during the winter time. And yeah, I think grilling for me is like the best way to do it because it's less mess, a lot of flavor, and I don't really like to clean up very much. So that's like the jam for me, grilling. If you're like single, grilling vegetables, meats, fish, seafood, I mean anything's good on the grill in my opinion.
Awesome. I'll
Pick up a barbecue. Link.
Yeah, because
You have to.
We did one at his just recently to watch the McGregor and Poirier third fight. We did a grill and watched the fight, and that was delicious. Just
That's
because
the move, yeah.
you got all this extra flavor coming through.
Definitely.
And is that your favorite cooking method?
Yeah, definitely.
What else is up
Definitely
there?
the grill. What else is up there? It's a good question. I mean,
I like
frying.
cooking methods that
frying
have low
is pretty
margins.
awesome.
high margin for error? Like I can't fuck up.
Low margin.
Is that low
low
margin
margin?
for error?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Low margin for error.
Don't want a
Yeah,
high
no, I
margin
feel
for
that.
error, you'll be fucked.
Yeah, I like sure. I mean, like deep frying is cool, but it makes a mess, and it's like always delicious because like you can't go wrong with anything deep fried. But usually if I'm like not in a like content creation mode, if I'm just like cooking for me and my homies, it's the grill or it's like the oven. I'm like roast a chicken, like roast some vegetables and like call it a day. Like I try to keep the dish, if I'm doing it for myself or friends, I try to keep the dish pile up to an absolute minimum because I know I'm going to be the one cleaning up after myself. So I'm just like, I try to make as least amount of work as possible, especially when I'm cooking for a bunch of people. So like I always have homies come over for dinner because everybody always wants to come to my place for dinner for obvious reasons. So yeah, I try to do as much ahead as I can and like make the least amount of mess and the least amount of dishes. That's like my thing. So it's either in the oven, it's on the grill. I got one of those Traeger pellet smoker grills, which is pretty dope too. And like I like to use that too. So like I do like ribs, brisket. I smoked burgers, which was like actually insane.
How do you do that? You smoke the patty?
Yeah, you smoke the patty. So I made like a thick patty, like a half-pound patty.
Wow.
And like smoked it at 225, and it was fucking amazing. It was amazing. And I like to do that a lot too because everyone gets blown away by smoked foods anyway. So I'm just like, oh, it's super easy. I can just set it and forget it. And that's my jam. Like grilling, smoking, and then like anything in the oven roasted is like I think is awesome.
That's fucking sick.
Well, one thing we don't have enough of in Australia is like a good enough culture of brisket. Like we don't have enough good brisket. Like the first time I stumbled across a good brisket, I was like, why has this not been part of my life for 25 years?
God,
like
dude,
it is the best.
Dude, it's so good.
It's
so
the
good.
best thing on earth.
I was just in Austin, Texas a few months ago, and like I've had some pretty good like smoked meats and barbecue and things like that. But like when I went down there, it was like life changing, and it's tough for me because I've had so many food experiences and I'm so experienced in this like restaurant food world that it's like it's really hard for me to be like speechless and mind blown about like a food experience. But like I went to Franklin's Barbecue, and I know it's gotten very touristy, but like dude, I had brisket from there and it fucking changed my life. And it's like you never even knew that a piece of beef could like have that much impact, and it was pretty insane. And it's like it's no joke, man. People take that shit so seriously down there, and it's definitely an art form that I have not gotten close to perfecting. Like I'm all right, but it's like, dude, those guys do that shit. They eat and breathe and live it, and it's like just like smoked beef, and it's insane. It's insane. So if you're ever in the States, fucking Austin, Texas, man.
Oh yeah, number one on my list. Texas for some barbecue.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
That is
for sure.
Barbecue and football. That's what I'm doing when I come over.
Yeah, that's the spot for you, man.
Jake, it's been really awesome to chat to you. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Where can people find you at? It's Jake Elgart on Instagram, Jake Elgart on YouTube. We'll drop the links in the description. Is there anywhere else?
Yeah. So Jake Elgart Instagram, YouTube, Jake Elgart and TikTok. So my Instagram and TikTok handles are the same. And yeah, those are primarily where you'll find me is Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.